Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master on Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're also paying our humble Dandavat Pranam to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for providing us this wonderful commentary and translation of Bhagavatam. And following the guidance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, we are praying to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Yadi sevā-vañcitāḥ yasyāḥ kṛpayā vayaṃ labhema sarvaṃ prāpnumaḥ prayojanaṃ dhāmni śrī-bhagavat pade Kṛṣṇa-sambandhi sarvaṃ Yadi na jānīmahe tutam Aṣṭādaśasu sahasreṣu ślokānāṃ bhāgavat-oktiṣu Rādhārānīṃ na vindāmaḥ tadā niṣphalaṃ bhagavat yayinam radhikaya kripam vina vyartasyat sarva-pariśramaḥ. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Rādhārānīṃ within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, all of our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing our reading today from Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 11. Shri Badaryanir Uvacha Karmanna Karmanir Haro Nahyatyantika Ishyate Avidvad Adhikaritvat Prayaschitam Vimarshanam. Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vedavyas, answered, "My dear king, since acts meant to neutralize impious actions are also fruitive, they will not release one from the tendency to act fruitively. Persons who subject themselves to the rules and regulations of atonement are not at all intelligent. Indeed, they are in the mode of darkness. Unless one is freed from the mode of ignorance, trying to counteract one action through another is useless, because this will not uproot one's desires. Thus, even though one may superficially seem pious, he will undoubtedly be prone to act impiously. Therefore, real atonement is enlightenment in perfect knowledge, Vedanta, by which one understands the supreme absolute truth." Purport. The Guru, Shukadeva Goswami, has examined Parikshit Maharaj, and it appears that the king has passed one phase of the examination by rejecting the process of atonement because it involves fruitive activities. Now Shukadeva Goswami is suggesting the platform of speculative knowledge. Progressing from Karmakand to Jnanakand, he is proposing Prayaschitam Vimarshanam. Real atonement is full knowledge. Vimarshanam refers to the cultivation of speculative knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, karmis who are lacking in knowledge are compared to asses. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.15, Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradama mayaya pahrita jnana ashuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Thus karmis who engage in sinful acts, and who do not know the true objective of life, are called mudhas, asses. Vimarshana, however, is also explained in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, where Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvar aham eva vedya. The purpose of Vedic study is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one studies Vedanta, but merely advances somewhat in speculative knowledge and does not understand the Supreme Lord, one remains the same mudha. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, one attains real knowledge when he understands Krishna and surrenders unto him. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavamam prapadyante. To become learned and free from material contamination, therefore, one should try to understand Krishna, for thus one is immediately liberated from all pious and impious activities and their reactions. Text 12. Nashnata patyam evanam vyadhayo bhibhavantihi evam niyama kridrajan sanai kshemaya kalpate. My dear king, if a diseased person eats the pure, uncontaminated food prescribed by a physician, he is gradually cured and the infection of disease can no longer touch him. Similarly, if one follows the regulative principles of knowledge, he gradually progresses toward liberation from material contamination. Purport. One is gradually purified if one culminates knowledge, even through mental speculation, and strictly follows the regulative principles enjoined in the Shastras, and explained in the next verse. Therefore, the platform of jnana, speculative knowledge, is better than the platform of karma, fruit of action. There is every chance of falling from the platform of karma into hellish conditions, but on the platform of jnana, one is saved from hellish life, although one is still not completely free from infection. The difficulty is that on the platform of jnana, one thinks that he has been liberated and has become Narayan or Bhagavan. This is another phase of ignorance. Yenye ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayasta bhavad avishudha budhaya aruya kritrena parampadam tata patyant yado nadrita yusmad angraya. Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Because of ignorance, one speculatively thinks himself liberated from material contamination, although actually he is not. Therefore, even if one rises to Brahma Gyan, understanding of Brahman, one nevertheless falls down because of not taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Nonetheless, Jnanis at least know what is sinful and what is pious, and they very cautiously act according to the injunctions of the Shastras. Texts 13 through 14. Tapassa brahmacharyena samena cha damena cha tyagena satya sochabhyam yamena niyamena va dehavag buddhi jamdhira dharmagya shraddha yanvita chipanchagham mahad api venugulam ivanala. To concentrate the mind, one must observe a life of celibacy and not fall down. One must undergo the austerity of voluntarily giving up sense enjoyment. One must then control the mind and senses, give charity, be truthful, clean, and non-violent, follow the regulative principles, and regularly chant the holy name of the Lord. Thus a sober and faithful person, who knows the religious principles, is temporarily purified of all sins performed with his body, words, and mind. These sins are like the dried leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree, which may be burned by fire, although their roots remain to grow again at the first opportunity. Purport. Tapa is explained in the Smriti Shastra as follows. Manasyaschendriyanam cha aikagryam paramam tapa. Complete control of the mind and senses and their complete concentration on one kind of activity is called tapa. Our Krishna consciousness movement is teaching people how to concentrate the mind on devotional service. This is first-class tapa. Brahmacharya, the life of celibacy, has 8 aspects. One should not think of women, speak about sex life, dally with women, look lustfully at women, talk intimately with women, or decide to engage in sexual intercourse. No, nor should one endeavor for sex life or engage in sex life. One should not even think of women or look at them, to say nothing of talking with them. This is called first-class brahmacharya. If a brahmachari or a sannyasi talks with a woman in a secluded place, naturally there will be a possibility of sex life without anyone's knowledge. Therefore, a complete brahmachari practices just the opposite. If one is a perfect brahmachari, he can very easily control the mind and senses, give charity, speak truthfully, and so forth. To begin, however, one must control the tongue and the process of eating. In the Bhakti Marg, the path of devotional service, one must strictly follow the regulative principles by first controlling the tongue. Sivan mukhe hi jivhado svayam eva svaratyada. The tongue, jiva, can be controlled if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, does not speak of any subjects other than those concerning Krishna, and does not taste anything offered to Krishna. If one can control the tongue in this way, brahmacharya and other purifying processes will automatically follow. It will be explained in the next verse that the path of devotional service is completely perfect and is therefore superior to the path of fruitive activities and the path of knowledge. Quoting from the Vedas, Srila Viraraghava Acharya explains that austerity involves observing fasts as fully as possible, tapasana sakena. Srila Rupa Goswami has also advised that atyahara, too much eating, is an impediment to advancement in spiritual life. Also in Bhagavad Gita 6.17, Krishna says, Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yuktasvapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. In text 14, the word dhira, meaning those who are undisturbed under all circumstances, is very significant. Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 2.14, Matras parshas tu kaunteya sitoshna shukha dukkha agama paino nityas tams titikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. In material life there are many disturbances, adhyatmika, adhidhaivika, adhibhautika. One who has learned to tolerate these disturbances under all circumstances is called dhira. Text 15. Kechit ke bhalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dunvanti karchnena niharam eva bhaskara. Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can completely dissipate fog by its rays. Purport. In the previous verse, Shukadeva Goswami gave the example that the dried leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree may be completely burnt to ashes by a fire, although the creepers may sprout again because the root is still in the ground. Similarly, because the root of sinful desire is not destroyed in the heart of a person who is cultivating knowledge, but who has no taste for devotional service, there is a possibility that his sinful desires will reappear. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4, Shriyashritam Bhaktim Udasyate Vibho Klishantye Kevala Bodhalabdaye. Speculators who undergo great labor to gain a meticulous understanding of the material world by distinguishing between sinful and pious activities, but who are not situated in devotional service, are prone to material activities. They may fall down and become implicated in fruitive activities. If one becomes attached to devotional service, however, his desires for material enjoyment are automatically vanquished without separate endeavor. Bhakti parishanubhavo viraktir anyatracha. Bhakti parishanubhavo viraktir anyatracha. Bhagavatam 11.2.42. If one is advanced in Krishna consciousness, material activities, both sinful and pious, automatically become distasteful to him. That is the test of Krishna consciousness. Both pious and impious activities are actually due to ignorance, because a living entity as an eternal servant of Krishna has no need to act for his personal sense gratification. Therefore, as soon as one is reclaimed to the platform of devotional service, he relinquishes his attachment for pious and impious activities and is interested only in what will satisfy Krishna. This process of bhakti, devotional service to Krishna, Vasudeva Parayana, relieves one from the reactions of all activities. Since Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee, the answers of his guru, Shukadeva Goswami, concerning Karmakand and Jnanakand could not satisfy him. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, knowing very well the heart of his disciple, explained the transcendental bliss of devotional service. The word kechit, which is used in this verse, means a few people, but not all. Not everyone can become Krishna conscious. As Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreṣu kaśchit yatati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaśchin mam veti tattvata. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Practically no one understands Krishna as he is, for Krishna cannot be understood through pious activities or attainment of the most elevated speculative knowledge. Actually, the highest knowledge consists of understanding Krishna. Unintelligent men who do not understand Krishna are grossly puffed up, thinking that they are liberated or have themselves become Krishna or Narayan. This is ignorance. To indicate the purity of bhakti, devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anya bilasita sunyam jana karmadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. From Madhya 19.2. 167. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna, favorably and without desire for material profit or gain, through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami further explains that bhakti is kleshagni subhada, which means if one takes to devotional service, all kinds of unnecessary labor and material distress cease entirely, and one achieves all good fortune. Bhakti is so powerful that it is also said to be moksha laghūtakrit. Moksha laghūtakrit. In other words, it minimizes the importance of liberation. Non-devotees must undergo material hardships because they are prone to commit sinful fruitive activities. They desire to commit sinful actions. The desire to commit sinful actions continues in their hearts due to ignorance. These sinful actions are divided into 3 categories: pataka, mahapataka, and atipataka, and also into 2 divisions: prarabdha and aprarabdha. Prarabdha refers to sinful reactions from which one is suffering at the present, and aprarabdha refers to sources of potential suffering. When the seeds, bija, of sinful reactions have not yet fructified, the reactions are called aprarabdha. These seeds of sinful action are unseen, but they are unlimited, and no one can trace when they were first planted. Because of prarabdha, sinful reactions that have already fructified, one is seen to have taken birth in a low family or to be suffering from other miseries. When one takes to devotional service, however, all phases of sinful life, including prarabdha and aprarabdha and bija, are vanquished. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.14.19, Lord Krishna tells Uddhava, Yatagni shushamridharchi karotye dhamsi bhashmasat tata madvishaya bhaktir Uddha venamshi Kṛṣṇasa. My dear Uddhava, devotional service in relationship with me is like a blazing fire that can burn to ashes all the fuel of sinful activities supplied to it. How devotional service vanquishes the reactions of sinful life is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.6. In a verse spoken during Lord Kapila Dev's instructions to his mother, Devahuti said, Yanama deha shravananukirtanad yat pravanad yat smaranad api kvachit svadopi sadya shavanaya kalpate kuta punaste bhagavanu darshanat. My dear Lord, even if a person born in a family of dog-eaters hears and repeats the chanting of your glories, offers respects to you and remembers you, he is immediately greater than a brahmana, and is therefore eligible to perform sacrifices. Therefore, what is to be said of one who has seen you directly? In the Padma Purana, there is a statement that persons whose hearts are always attached to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu are immediately released from all the reactions of sinful life. These reactions generally exist in 4 phases. Some of them are ready to produce results immediately. Some are in the form of seeds. Some are unmanifested, and some are current. All such reactions are immediately nullified by devotional service. When devotional service is present in one's heart, Desires to perform sinful activities have no place there. Sinful life is due to ignorance, which means forgetfulness of one's constitutional position as an eternal servant of God. But when one is fully Krishna conscious, he realizes that he is God's eternal servant. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami comments that bhakti may be divided into two divisions. 1. Santata, devotional service that continues incessantly with faith and love. And 2. Kadachitki, devotional service that does not continue incessantly but is sometimes awakened. Incessantly flowing devotional service, santata, may also be divided into two categories. 1. Service performed with slight attachment, and 2. Spontaneous devotional service. Intermittent devotional service, kadachitki, may be divided into three categories. 1. Raga basamai, devotional service in which one is almost attached. 2. Raga basa sunya svarupa bhutta, devotional service in which there is no spontaneous love, but one likes the constitutional position of serving. And 3. Abhasa rupa, a slight glimpse of devotional service. As for atonement, if one has caught even a slight glimpse of devotional service, all needs to undergo prayaschita, atonement, are superseded. Therefore, atonement is certainly unnecessary when one has achieved spontaneous love, and above that, attachment with love, which are signs of increasing advancement in kadachitki. Even in the stage of abhasarupa bhakti, all the reactions of sinful life are uprooted and vanquished. Srila Jiva Goswami expresses the opinion that the word kṛṣṇa means that even if one has a desire to commit sinful actions, the roots of that desire are vanquished merely by abhasarupa bhakti. The example of Bhaskara, the sun, is most appropriate. The abhasa feature of bhakti is compared to twilight, and the accumulation of one's sinful activities is compared to fog. Since fog does not spread throughout the sky, the sun need do no more than merely manifest its first rays, and the fog immediately disappears. Similarly, if one has even a slight relationship with devotional service, all the fog of his sinful life is immediately vanquished. And thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 16 on Monday. Krishna is always moving in a crooked way, right? So, which is very beautiful and is increasing his wonder and beauty, and increasing the hankering of the devotees' love, because Krishna is so novel and working in so many unexpected, attractive ways. So, even though bhakti immediately vanquishes all sinful reaction, which is a fact, we accept that as a fact, but still the highest devotees, the gopis, right, they're still getting some reaction for their love for Krishna when he disappears. They're so sad, so many apparently suffering they're getting. But that's aprakrita. It looks like prakriti, but it's not material. It's the highest kind of ecstasy, right? Aprakrita. So when we look at the lives of our acharyas, right, and we see sometimes things that appear to be suffering, I think we have to accept it in the same way as the gopis suffering. It's not, even though it looks to our material eyes as prakriti, but it's not. It's aprakrita. So all these subtle things are there in the plane of consciousness. And Krishna is very tricky. So anyhow. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Tirtha Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktiveda Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Navarup Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gangamai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. Sham Kun
Jai.
Radha Kun Ki Jai.
Jai.
Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai.
Jai.
Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Princeton Bhakti Vedanta Institute Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Nitya Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Jai Śrīmatī Uma Devi Dasi Ki Jai.
Jai Gurudev. श्रीपाद कृष्ण केशव प्रभु जी की जय।
Jai Gurudev.
धन्यवाद।
Dhanyavad Pranam Didi.